30 casts when we were trying to decide, and it was a whole day of putting everyone through the ringer of trying to work out who everybody was, and everybody was up against each other, which was really tough, but it turned out to be a really fantastic day. The problem was we couldn't decide because everybody was so good, but it made me so inspired that there were so many good choices, and then we started to see that tone come out. And and I have to say, throughout the whole piece, there were moments where we found people that we had worked with who didn't get the tone and we were going down the wrong path. And I think now there was times when we kind of stopped that and knew to stop it, and that we headed in the right direction again. And so we didn't always have every answer, but we knew where it had to go.
How were Netflix's collaborators?
They were great. They pushed us really hard, pushed us very hard, and they were very honest with us about what they liked and what they didn't like. They didn't come to Australia. They didn't, apart from when we started doing the marketing campaign, they really, they wanted to a lot, but they left us to make the show that we wanted to make. And they were really supportive. When we were picking the writers, they were very much, these are the writers you want, then that's the path we'll take. So they were very supportive, but also always pushed us harder.
I want to ask you too, we talk about the fact that we live in the era of binge TV. Narratively, I've said to you many times, I'm very nervous about binge TV. I feel like it's sort of dancing, sort of a slow waltz through a wedding, and then in quick 5-minute flash putting your face into every dish on the buffet. And I think that the question narratively...
Which wedding was this?
I didn't. The question becomes kind of... What changes narratively when you know that your audience now, in a funny way, we grew up watching TV and never really noticing, but historically, television has always been written with a lot of dialogue recap. There's a kind of mosaic that writers' rooms use to repeat information, and to kind of, simply because you know that you're watching this episode 7 days after that you watched the last one. Now you're watching it 7 minutes after. So obviously that whole conversation's changed. When you make a narrative drama, how do you balance making it a dish that could be served piece by piece for a bunch of weeks, or making it in such a way that someone can truly switch it on and 10 hours later kind of burp and go to bed? I mean, that's the brave new world, right?
Yeah, I think, even with Secrets and Lies, we set out to understand the medium that we were telling the story on, which was free-to-air commercial television. So we have ad breaks. So we were all about creating cliffhangers at the end of those ad breaks because we didn't want to lose people. We wanted them to come back. And I think with this show, it has the cliffhangers in a different place, but it does have